Yeoman Rand, Nurse Chapel. And then I thought, you know, I love Marina Sirtis. And in Next Generation, all the ships had ship's counselors. Well, when did they start that process? When did that become a normal thing? Just like the holodeck, right, Ilanka? Somewhere in the past, Starfleet decided to try a new program where they would have a ship's counselor. And I thought, okay, let's have the first ever experimental ship's counselor and see how they react. And of course, Kirk's not too jazzed on the idea. It's like, what do we need a ship's counselor for? I've got McCoy. Right? So you've seen the episodes. The first few episodes, Kirk, you know, kind of dismissive of her. And it's not until episode 4 that he basically says, you know what, if I ever had any doubt about the need for a ship's counselor, I don't anymore. So we wanted, with the ship's counselor, also not only to bring a new character into the mix, but also to, again, bridge that space between Next Gen and the original series. If you get a chance to see one of our phasers close up, you'll see that from 20 feet away, it looks just like a TOS phaser. But if you get up close, it's its own design, and certain lines of the phaser and the electronic display that's on top of the phaser look like Next Generation. They're moving toward that. Did anyone see the vignette that we made? I see some heads nodding, yes. Before we ever shot our first episode, we shot 3 little vignettes. One was an extension of Turnabout Intruder, the last episode that was ever filmed, ever aired. The second vignette was about Sulu being put in command while all the senior officers were off duty. And he and Sulu and Chekhov and Uhura take turns jumping into the captain's chair. Like, trying it out kind of thing. And Kirk walks in on him. And it's a wonderful moment. Classic Star Trek. They all scurry like rats back to their posts, and Kirk's looking at him. And Kirk says, Lieutenant, would you come here a minute? And Uhura walks up and stands at attention, waiting to be reprimanded. And Kirk looks at her and says, I can't imagine a better female captain. Classic Star Trek. You know, encouraging her, you know, you'll have the finest ship, your crew will have the finest, how did I put it? Your ship will have the finest captain in the fleet because I have the finest crew in the fleet. And that you're going to do great things one day. Classic Star Trek. And the third vignette was called Happy Birthday, Scotty. Oh my gosh, Eric, can you call this up on the internet? Let's watch it. Go to StarTrekContinues.com. They're short, but this was another thing. I wanted to have a phaser that slowly was bridging the gap. So I thought, rather than pulling it out in the middle of an episode and having people go, whoa, what the hell was that? And having it pull them out of the episode, scroll down. Wait, vignettes, where are they? Keep going down. Go, go, go. Here it is. Happy birthday, Scotty. 1 second. Rather than having people in the middle of an episode be distracted by a new prop, you know what I mean, and pulled out of the moment, I thought, let's make its own little introduction. Let's make it its own little special vignette so that people know we've got this new phaser, okay? Go ahead and hit it. Can you bring it up a little bit? Happy birthday, Scotty.
Aye.
Is it your birthday?
Well, with what we're about to be on board, it might as well be. Am I right?
Aye, sir.
All right then. Energize. Watch, this is great.
My, she's a beauty.
Looks just like the other ones.
Are you blind, Doctor? Can't you see the improvements? Power distribution has improved, the battery charge has increased, the body is streamlined, and light too. Here, surely you feel the weight difference. You've found one of these before.
Apparently, not enough.
I'm a doctor, not a sniper.
Someday, you may need to be both.
You make an excellent point, Mr. Scott. Contact the practice range on Deck 4 and let them know that our good doctor will be coming down to qualify with his new weapon.
But I'm gonna remember this on your next physical.
Oh my God. That was really fun. I haven't seen that in years. Oh, I love it. Don't you love it? Looks just like the other one. How do you, blind doctor? Look, this has been improved, and this has been. Here, feel the weight. Surely, I don't know if you could hear it. Feel the weight. Surely, you can tell the weight difference. You fired one before. And Kirk goes, clearly not enough. I'm a doctor, not a sniper. Did you hear Scotty's line? Well, someday you may need to be both. Great line, right? We hadn't even shot an episode yet. We were doing this. And so that was why we did it, Yolanda. We wanted to bridge that gap between the series with some of those little details. Yes?
I've got two...
Michael!
Yes.
With your amazing photos from Japan.
Yes, thank you. I've got two questions, actually. One, how often do you meet Christian protesters like at Anime Matsuri?
Say that one more time for me.
How often do you meet Christian protesters as in Anime Matsuri? Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Bringing up that subject.
Yes.
Okay. What Michael is referring to, I'm a Christian. I make no apology about that. I don't shove it down anybody's throat, but that's what I believe. That's who I am. I'm very, very grateful to God for the opportunities He's given me, and one of them is to be here with you. So, I was at an anime convention a couple of months ago, and there were some people outside picketing. Some of those, you know the people I'm talking about. Some of the Christian type people that
sort of.
that picket. Yeah, I would use the term Christian loosely.
Yes.
Picketing about judgment, condemnation, and I, because of my faith, I went out there to talk to them. I didn't want to start a fight. Oh, maybe I did just a little bit. No, I didn't. I didn't want to start a fight. I just wanted to appeal to them. I wanted to appeal to them in this faith that they say they have, to say, look, if you want to reach these kids, this is not the way to do it. Marching around with signs that telling them they're going to be judged and going to hell and condemnation is not the way you reach people.
Yes.
And we got into an argument, basically, and as I started to leave, one of the protesters yelled out, "God loves all of us." And I turned around and yelled at the top of my lungs, "Well, then why don't you put that on your sign?"
Yes.
So, yeah, my big mouth gets me in trouble sometimes, Michael, but
Yes.
for better or worse, right?
Yes, and I don't know if it was at the same con, but at the Gospel of the Gospel of John panel, you also said something about that you are handing out pamphlets at the age of 15 and at your grandfather's church, and basically kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
At what point did that point of view change?
Yeah, I think what Michael's referring to is that I was talking about this same incident at an anime panel very shortly after it. And I told the fans there that one of the reasons I think that incident troubled me as much as it did, one of the reasons I felt so strongly about going out there and confronting those people is because that is similar to the environment I grew up in. I remember being a young boy and thinking that that was the way you scare people into, right? Isn't that what you do? You scare them into being open to some kind of faith or some kind of a relationship. You know what I mean? With God. You tell them, you're going to hell. You know, you scare them. I came from that kind of a background. And as I grew older, I realized that that's not the way. It's not. And so I felt particularly strong about confronting that when I saw it. Because I had come out of that, you know what I mean? And I felt so strongly about the importance of letting them know that God loves everybody. He loves all of us. Doesn't matter what color your hair is. Doesn't matter whether you watch anime or Star Trek all day, or whether you like to wear black, or whether you pierce your body. It doesn't matter, you know what I mean? And that's the message that I like to share with people. Thank you.
Also, I got a little something here for you.
Oh, what is it?
Two typical Dutch Delft blue tiles where
What?
yes.
Come here, let me see. What is it? Oh, did you make these?
Yes. Another one.
Ah! I'm not going to tell them what that one says. This is beautiful. Look at this. Learn from the past, live in the present, and build your own future. Thank you, Michael. Thank you.